Hello, this is Janae with Emerging Light and Vibrational Medicine. So glad you're here. So glad that we're watching. We have some important things to be talking about, some very, very special things. Right now, everyone is talking about what it means to be awake. Awake to spiritual things, not the kind of awake when you wake up in the morning, okay? Awaken to understanding more of who you are, why are you here, where are you going, where are you from, and how can you get the truth. Okay, so everyone is experiencing a lot of change right now. There are so many changes. I don't care who you are, everyone is experiencing great change and a huge shift as a collective and individually. So awakened can mean a lot of things to a lot of different people. It's not going to look the same for everyone. Okay. And it's not a place of arriving. Being awake is a process of evolution as a spiritual entity. Okay. So right now, a lot of people are sleeping in a physical illusion. And the illusion is usually attached to a negative vibration. Okay, a negative vibration such as fear, or perhaps you see a lot of people who walk around and they feed off of hatred and dishonesty, right? A lot of these things. And not only that, but they believe everything that the media feeds them. They believe everything that a high up religious leader feeds them. And they literally walk around in the dark. And time is an illusion. When you start to feel like time is no longer an issue for you, you are shifting. Okay. So the point of our experience here at this time on planet Earth is to shift from 3D to 5D. And 3D is using a lot of your physical senses only. You're reliant on your perception to see only with your physical eyes, to hear only with your physical ears. You're not tapping into all that's available to you within the 5D density and dimension. Okay? So when you start to perceive higher senses that perhaps you have spiritual guides that are talking to you, but not with your physical ears, or you can feel, oh, grandpa's with me, but not with your physical senses, your 3D senses. You are shifting into 5D higher consciousness. So right now, a lot of us have one foot in the door of 3D and one foot in the door of 5D, and we're trying to navigate our way and understand how to move. When you understand how to attract and manifest using your faith and gratitude, higher frequencies of love, peace, joy, all of those things are 5D perceptions. Unity, that's another really big one. Right now, we're seeing a lot of separation, and the politics, the lies that we're getting from politicians, and the lies that we're getting from different religious circles, and the lies are everywhere. And those lies and those lower frequencies are causing great division. And the division is the illusion. None of us are divided. We're all united. We're all connected in love. So when you start to ask the big questions, who am I? Where did I come from? Where am I going? Expect to experience a great shift. Expect to experience even feelings like you're alone and no one understands you, and perhaps people think you're crazy because you're tapping into your 5D senses. You're not crazy, I assure you. For me, I started to wake up when I was asking the big questions and I was praying to God and I was listening to Christ. I started to write down through my automatic writing process what they were telling me. This was a massive contributor to my awakening process because I started to awaken to things as they really are, and the light and the truth and the beauty behind who I am and my contribution here on this planet. So I know a lot of you are searching for that. You are just aching to know all of these questions. And for me, my awakening process, I am choosing to learn a lot about different things that are not 3D. I'm fascinated with portals and fascinated with meditation and with and speaking of portals, not just the meditative or astral kind of portal. I'm talking about galactic portals that the Mayans understood. So that's another topic for another day, probably. I would like to do another segment on that. The sun is part of our awakening. She is going through an 11-year cycle right now, and she hits her peak in 2025. Within the year of between 2022 and 2023, she has released some solar flares. And some of you are definitely feeling that shift. And that process, it can be a little messy because now we're starting to notice that there are natural disasters. The United States has this huge snowstorm that's come in, and perhaps you're noticing changes in your body where you're feeling tired or you're experiencing ringing in the ears or any of those things. But the sun also has a very unique process of when she releases her solar flares, she also releases portions of her own electromagnetic DNA, which is causing a great awakening inside our own bodies and in our own spirits. So keep your eyes on the sun. Study all that you can about the sun, because that is a huge part of what is happening. The Mayans understood that perfectly. Okay. So wherever you are on your journey, it's going to look a little different, and we're all moving differently. So have a little grace for someone who is not quite understanding it. I would like to add this. There are many of us on this planet who understanding how to be 5D is easy. It's like a refresher course. And that's because it is. Okay. Some of us, those of us that it comes easy and naturally for, newsflash, it's because you've been 5D before. You've mastered that and you've agreed to come back to planet Earth, okay, to help the rest of those that maybe there are some people here on this planet Earth that this is their first time being 3D. This is brand new. So they don't know what that looks like to be awake. So those of you that have experienced 5D before, you know who you are, you can feel it, you can remember. This is just a refresher. We are here to help those that have only been 3D. This is their first time being here in that capacity. We are here to help them progress. So if you have someone that maybe just can't see the illusion, be patient, okay? Just be patient because this is their first time. Those of us that, oh, this is familiar, this is like a refresher course, it's because it is. You've done this before and you're here to do it again to help. And we're getting other messengers and visitors from other planets. Yes, I'm going to say that, who are also 5D, and they've been called to help us here as well in their own unique way. So it's an exciting time. I'm excited. I've loved learning about all these things. There's a lot of factors that go into this great shift and awakening that we're all experiencing. And when you understand the different densities and dimensions, it gets easier to understand how to become more 5D. I have a lot of people that ask me, what's the difference between density and dimension? And this is my favorite analogy. When you think about a bookshelf, this shelf here, there's many layers to the shelf, right? So each layer would represent a density, length, space, width within a certain space, okay? But the things that are on the shelf, maybe I have books up here, those things would represent dimension within the density. So as we talk about becoming 5D within this dimension, we are talking about raising our consciousness within a density to fill the capacity of the dimension, if that makes sense. Okay? And maybe I'll do another segment on that as well if you have questions. So, happy awakening, everybody. I love it. I love it so, so much. I would love to hear more about what sparked your awakening. Leave some comments. Let me know where you're at. I'm so curious to know where everyone is at with their journey and their awakening process. I know each of you have a story of your own, and I just think it's beautiful. So, all right, signing off for now.